Now, you won't get an argument from Carole Forster. Just months before, she had her own terrifying run-in with a flying saucer.
It was all of a sudden the level of the windshield of the car, covering the roadbed. I could see the landing gear. That was very much the most frightening moment because it wasn't beside me anymore. It was trying to stop me. And that was very frightening. I'm just surprised I reacted as quickly as I did.
You feared for your life and your children's life.
Yes,
at that point.
Very much so. How do you know what was going to happen? How do you know what they wanted? You don't.
From your experience that night 15 years ago, you sensed that there was some intelligent being or beings in that craft.
Oh, yes, there had to be.
Now, we've all heard the stories of bizarre UFO abductions and mass sightings. We've seen how often UFO hoaxes have been perpetrated on the public. So it can be easy to dismiss a tiny town and the strange events they say they have witnessed.
I saw what I saw. I know I did. And I know, after 15 years now, I know there's people that are not going to believe me. And I can't help that. But I'm an honest person, and I'm telling the truth, and I'm not going to hide it any longer.
You say you have actually seen a UFO. Tell me, Carole, what did you see?
Okay, this was 13 years ago, March 2nd, 1975. I was 8 months pregnant. I had my 3 small children, 4, 5, and 8. In a car, I was leaving my parents' home. My husband wasn't with me. He was snowmobiling with friends, which I couldn't do at that time. As I came out of the driveway from my parents' home, I noticed to the west there was a bright star, lower than a star usually is, but we watched it. I drove 12 miles home, and no matter which direction I went, the star was positioned in my driver's window, lower than a star. When I turned straight west to take the last 3 miles home, it seemed to be coming lower. At that point, it was straight in front of me. It no longer was in the driver's window.
Was it still just a bright star, or could you
It was still a bright star, but it seemed to be descending. But I thought maybe it was an optical illusion at the time. We went over this little knoll, and the children started screaming that they thought the star was coming down out of the sky. And I almost stopped at the first farmer's driveway, and I thought, no, what am I going to tell him? There's a star coming down out of the sky. I thought I'd just keep going. So I kept going on down the road. Roger's mother lives in a farm home to the left. I almost stopped there again, but I didn't. We could tell that it was getting lower. I passed that driveway. A little ways up the road, there was a road to the right. Then there was a long stretch of nothing, no farm homes, nothing. Just as I passed that road, this ship came down like a shot, just like a shot. All of a sudden, there it was in front of me. It was the level of the windshield. I saw the landing gear. It wasn't like an airplane's landing gear. It was flat.
We have a sketch of what it was.
Yes. There was windows across the entire center of this ship, or whatever it was. It looked like something really out of a comic book, like 2 cereal bowls together. Of course, I only looked at it for a couple seconds because I was terrified. My 3 children were just screaming. I didn't hear any sound from the ship, but I don't think I would have anyway. They were screaming, and somehow automatically I shifted the car into reverse and threw open my door because it was dark, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to see to back up, headed for Roger's mother's driveway and some help. Then my oldest daughter, who was 8, started screaming that it was coming at us. I glanced back, and it was darting toward us, just small darts. So I laid on my horn while I was driving backwards. Then I asked Mary about it afterwards because I could tell I was getting light and dark all at the same time. She said...
Mary, your child?
She's the daughter, 8. She said it seemed then like it was one huge light bulb, and it kept flashing on and off.
Roger, how'd you get involved?
Well, when Carole got into the driveway at my mother's house, we've seen this car drive in, and all at once the door flew open, and in come 3 little kids, and it wasn't long Carole come in, and these children were really frightened. I mean, they're small kids, and their eyes were just bugged out, and they were really scared.
Did you just see the children and Carole, or did you see the ship itself?
No, I seen just the children and Carole. And then at that time, we finally talked the children into leaving again with their mother. And well, first before that, I took my two children and went out to see if I could see this thing and drove my car up the road a little ways. And I didn't see anything at that point then. Came back, and so then got Carole's children to go with her again, and then she started out again and got about to this same point in the road again, and back she come again. And in the house they come flying again. And these children had never been at this house or anything, but they wasn't staying in the car anymore. They were frightened. And then there was no way they was going to go back out with their mother and go. And so finally we talked to them, and I said if I went with my car ahead of them, would they go with their mother and go?
What happened?
So then we got them to go. I went out ahead of them, and as I drove out the driveway and got to this point in the road again where it came down in front of her, I looked up in the sky and saw this bright light up like a bright star again, like she explained it.
Is it similar to what Carole described? What
yes,
you saw?
Right. Only I didn't see the shape of it, just this bright star part of it.